All right, everybody. So I'm gonna give you guys the rundown on this aquarium real quick. And my tank was always covered in algae, and then I added some hermits and then some snails. The snails are a lot better. The hermits you had to feed, and I don't feed this aquarium. And then here's a little snail coming out. Go back in. Oh snap! It hit my. Damn it! It hit my frog spawn. Oh well. Like I said, I got my snails, and I got 2 Australias, 1 turbo snail, and 2 serret snails in here, and these little small snails that I got at Target for free. The little snails, I noticed that they reproduce, but it's whatever. And then my little frog spawn, if you look at the frog spawn right here, that guy started with just 1 head, and now it's 4. I got someone or a person for the other 3 heads that want him, but I'm not gonna frag it until I get 8 heads on this green and purple frog spawn. Anyways, for my lighting, like you said, if you look at my lighting, I got a little Kessel 880. I have it in mostly blue, and the intensity is pretty low. And then I got it connected to a smart plug, and the smart plug's connected to my Alexa. You see, when I told you guys it's gonna have salt on the on this guy, that's why I went with the blue first. And honestly, I think I like the blue more, and today I'm expecting the little white base for it. But the black one, if you notice in the nighttime, it's pretty hard to see. But at nighttime, I think you get better shots of the aquarium. I'll post some of these shots right here. Also, don't forget, for Alexa, remember to ask Alexa to open the interstellar oceans. Computer, open interstellar oceans.
Hello and welcome to Interstellar Oceans. You can ask me general questions about aquatics.
See that? So you just ask Alexa anything. Alright guys, so when I first started, this was the Montipora that I started with. And it pretty much grew all the way throughout the whole rim of this whole thing. See that? But then this guy, it fell on the frog spawn, and then it killed this part. And then on this side, it was shaded, so the shaded part died. But pretty much it's doing good. It's starting to recover. Well, it's been recovering. It's starting to actually grow. It's going to grow around the whole edges pretty soon. But everything's pretty solid. The edges right here, those were not there before, so I know it's starting to grow thicker right here. But you see that? But this coral is the only reason this guy could survive in here is because it has a water flow flowing right at it. And you saw that? I just had to take out the little piece of hair algae that was touching it. Alright, and then right here you got the little Australia snail right here. You see him? He's eating all the algae. So I don't clean the algae on the glass. I just have the snails handle that. If I clean that glass, you'll find the snails more on the rocks, but I don't want them on the rocks because then they start moving stuff too much. But another addition I did do is I added a little, see the epoxy right here? So I added one right here and another one in the point contacting the rock with these Rossazoas right here. So I added a little epoxy. That's why it's still white. But you can see how much white this is, and then you can see the coralline algae, how thick the coralline algae is right there. So the coralline algae, it got thicker once I added the Kessel, but it would have gotten thicker anyways. But I did notice that when you switch the spectrum, the coralline algae takes probably like about a few months to adapt to the new color, and then it'll start taking off again. Or at least for you to notice the color. But because even in the white spectrum, so this is the spectrum that you see right now is pretty much the spectrum I run my aquarium. I haven't touched it. And like I said, my aquarium, the Kessel is running on a smart plug connected to the Alexa device. And if you pretty much tell it to turn off the Kessel, it will. Another thing is that I have the Kessel running on the app. So at 10 to 10:30 at night. So 10 in the morning to 10 at night is my light schedule. So 12 hours and a half. And pretty much I could control the Kessel however I want. Same thing with the pump and the aquarium heater. So for example, computer, turn off the Kessel.
Okay.
You see that? Now you see red because the light coming in the what's called in the room is red. Computer, turn on the Kessel.
Okay.
Alright, so it's on a light schedule, and I could also turn it off whenever I want. The pump, it's pretty much running however it wants, meaning I just have it turned on. I don't have it on the schedule or anything. It wouldn't make sense. And now there's a lot of little baby polyps. You see that? There's 2 right here, 1 right there. This one I wouldn't call it a baby anymore, but you see the one right there in the corner. And then this guy right there at the edge of the reef. But I just don't want the frog spawn to kind of touch these guys. I didn't want these guys to grow down. I thought they were going to grow up. So corals kind of grow unexpected to how you want them. So they're probably chasing the water flow. But I might move them a little bit more this way once they start attaching to the rock. But if they start attaching to the rock on this side, I mean, it's whatever, but the frog spawn kind of has to know not to grow that way. Otherwise, I might just remove the tile, and whatever grew on the rock, just leave it there, and then frag the tile, and then give it to people, different polyps. So if you're part of the hobby, I'll just give you one for free. But if you're not, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I'm probably not even gonna give you one. But these polyps are special, all right? But anyways, same thing with the frog spawn. Like I said, I already got people that want all these coral. I'm just waiting for them to grow out and then just give it to them. And like I said, you got to be part of the project. So this guy right here, you see that? It had a little brother or sister right here. You see that? And this one, the one that was right here facing the glass, it died during the heat wave. And then I ended up with just this guy. I managed to save this guy. So I knew it wasn't a bacterial infection. I just knew it was just a temperature problem because my coral reef was running at 94. You see that? This guy, it survived and it's doing really good. But I always tell people to leave their frog spawns down there, or the skeletons, because sometimes you see the little babies that start to branch out from the side of the skeleton. You see that? And I'm going to change the camera angle, and then I'm going to show you guys the little babies. Alright, so if you look at this frog spawn, pretty much I started, like I said, I started with just 1 polyp. And it's been growing like crazy. You see that? And like I said, here's another angle. And like I said, I just started with 1 polyp, and like I said, it's pretty much covered this whole section right here, and it looks really good actually. Alright, so this is the last coral I want to talk about. This is my Space Invader Chalice. I noticed it's been doing really good, and it's always pretty much fluffy. So I ordered a Raja Rampage, and I'm expecting to add a Raja Rampage. I just don't know how big it is, so hopefully I could find a place to put it. And then I might get a sea anemone also. And I'm not sure if I'll have to start another aquarium or just toss it in there. What do you guys think? I'll probably find set up another tank and then put it in there. But you see this guy? This guy's doing really good. But like I said, I'm expecting a Raja Rampage. And I'll show you guys a clip of the Raja. Alright, so this is a full view of the aquarium, somewhat of a full view. And you can see the little Space Invader. It looks really nice, you see that? And it's kind of shaded, but at the same time it's not. So I wonder where I have to put the Raja Rampage, because there's no more room for it in the bottom. So I might have to put it somewhere in the top right. I'm thinking about top right, closer to the water flow compared to the top left. Because the top left, what's called the zoas might get to it. So, and I don't want them to grow as fast, because in the top right you got the Montipora, but the Montipora grows slower, so I'd rather have the Roger Rampage growing towards the Montipora and have a little bit more water flow. So I might throw them right there. I'll show you right now. I'm gonna put the Raja just right here, the Raja Rampage. This is where I want the Raja. Alright, so I kind of plan on putting the Raja Rampage. See over here in the corner, right here in the back. It'll kind of, well, I mean, I might get a lot of light, but throwing them right there in the back, closer to the water flow, and it'll be kind of away from both the Montipora and the frog spawn right here. So I'm just gonna try to put it over there in the back. So I don't care if it grows on the glass, so just leave it there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm expecting the Raja in a few days, so I'm just gonna put it right there and make a separate video. So that'll be pretty cool. So that's something cool to expect. So once you know your tank is doing really good and you see all the corals are multiplying and doing fine, that's when you know when you want to add another coral. Like, I wasn't gonna add another coral, but since I added the Space Invader, and I had the Space Invader for quite some time now, I'm basically gonna add the Raja Rampage, and hopefully it does good. So like I said, we're gonna add it right there to the back, and I'm expecting good results, hopefully. And like I said, I never kept the Raja personally, but I always sold a lot of Rajas. It's kind of funny. But anyways, yeah, so like I said, we're gonna add a little Raja, and I'm just worried about the water flow more than the light itself. So, God, because the Space Invader, if you look at the Space Invader, that guy is getting a lot of water flow just by what's called this guy. Hold on. Alright, so if you look at the Space Invader, you see all the water flow, and from right here, it's kind of sweeping through the Space Invader. So the Space Invader is getting a lot of water flow, but less light. And I'm hoping with the Raja Rampage, I could get enough water flow on that corner next to the outlet. You see that? Try to put it somewhere right there. I'm not sure if I'm gonna cut the bottom base of the frag plug or keep the bottom base to elevate it a little bit, but I kind of want it in this corner, probably glued to the rock right in the back, but I'm not sure if it'll be high enough to get the water flow, so I'm gonna have to think about it. But once I get it, I guess I have to worry about it. Alright, so if you look at my glass, like I said, I don't clean it. Those are all snail bite marks and stuff on the algae. And like I said, it's pretty much a self-sustaining ecosystem. And I do notice that I have a lot of worms and stuff, like bristle worms and stuff. And they're either eating each other or they're surviving off the poop of the snails. Like I said, that's another Australia snail right here. It's pretty much doing its thing. And there's another one right there. Like I said, this is a little prism aquarium. You can pretty much get these at Target or at Pet Club if you live in California. Everything's built in the back. the filtration's actually in the back, kind of. So I have my heater. This is where the pump is. The 2 little cartridges. I never change these cartridges. That's where all the bacteria. I hold all the bacteria, a lot of bacteria. All right, so this is another view of my rostas. Like as you saw, I touched my Montipora, so the polyps closed up. But if you look at the Montipora, it's a blue skin with the red orange polyps. But if you look at the rostas, if you look at that angle, they're growing really nicely. So I guess that's why they're capturing the light as best as they can. Like I said, I started with 2 polyps of these rostas, so in the beginning of the year. So it's been about probably like 6-8 months of growth, and like these polyps tend to grow slower than most other zoas, because I noticed other zoas in 6-8 months is usually covering a whole section of your tank, but these guys tend to grow a little bit slower, so that's why I added them in there. So if you look at my Kessel, apart from the salt and everything that's collected on top, that's pretty much the settings where I have it. You see that? I have it marked with that little dot. That's pretty much a little black dot. You see that? It's kind of hard to see sometimes. That's where I have it. In case I move it, I kind of know where I put it. So this one needs to be a little bit more bluer. See that? Bam, right there. That's where it needs to be at. All right, so this is the water that I use. I buy this water at Target. So what you want to do is use this water. Don't use the green one. The green one will kill your stuff because of the ozone. But use the blue one. The blue one works really good for the aquariums. As you see, the results are really nice. And then from the water, you want to mix it with your salt. This is the salt that I use. And like I said, you get the salt, you get the water, basically mix it up, and basically use that water for your water changes, and use the same water that this water actually. And like I said, you buy the water at Target. You can buy the fish tank at Target, but online, and they'll deliver it to you or to your nearest Target. And grab both. Grab the water, the tank, and then grab some salt. Like I said, just get me the salt. I'll trade you the salt, and then pretty much get yourself running, and you'll get pretty much results that look like this. And like I said, everything's pretty much easy. And like I said, I don't feed the aquarium, so don't get any fish when you first start. Just start off with just corals and work your way up, and then finally get some fish. Like I said, the fish are not going to go anywhere, and like I said, the corals are what people actually focus on. So that's my recommendation.